Typical church.
First the DJs, now he's attacking the church.
I'm not attacking the church. Let's just be clear. Oh, God. That's going to be in the hook. Oh, no.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Gimbal Guys podcast. Today we are talking some, I don't even know, horror stories, I think. I
Wedding
was just
horror
given this
stories.
list of stories on Reddit, so we are going to read some and react.
Because usually Reddit's a little bit more unhinged than anything else on the
Yeah,
internet.
I don't go on Reddit, but I do know it's unhinged.
Yeah. So
It's crazy over there.
I added some of these. I didn't read all of them. So some of them I'll be reacting to in real time. Nick definitely hasn't read them.
I received this list 5 seconds ago.
So should be good. Hopefully we'll get some good reactions. I'm scrolling down because the first few words in this one, we're gonna start out hot here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
I don't think you're ready for this one. I projectile vomited into my new husband's mouth during our first dance because I was overheated, dehydrated, in a tight corset, and had 85 people staring at me. LOL. So there was that.
LOL.
That's the whole story. And that is probably the worst thing that could ever happen to you on your wedding day. That is disgusting.
Nasty. But also I can see it happening and I would probably be laughing. Like, that's kind of funny.
I'm like, I would have to leave. Like, that's just disgusting. That's horrible.
If it got on me, I'm leaving.
Yeah. Get me out of here. Should have a vomit clause in the contract.
If I am touched by vomits,
Yeah.
I am leaving.
I'm out. But that's bad.
That is really bad.
And I'm assuming it's from a bride. So like,
Well, yeah.
well, actually, I guess it wouldn't be any better for either party.
No,
doing
vomit's
it.
vomit.
Yeah. It's more embarrassing. I was going to say it's more embarrassing for the bride, but then I feel like it would also be more embarrassing if her husband did it to her and it's like all over her. So actually it's probably best case scenario for her to do it.
I guess if the reason is a winning scenario in this.
Yeah. So that's
Okay.
it's number one, starting out hot.
I'm just going to start at the top here. So at my mom's wedding, she was sitting inside the limo in front of the venue watching guests arrive. Okay. Seems safe so far. 5 minutes before it's time to walk down the aisle, she gets out of the limo and a massive brown stain is on the back of her gorgeous white gown. Oh no. The limo driver has cleaned his seats with leather cleaner before picking up the bridal party. We were able to bustle her dress and hide the stain, but still. Wait, so they didn't say it directly, but she shit herself? Basically?
No, you didn't read it. It's the limo driver. The limo driver had cleaned his seats with a leather cleaner before picking up the bridal party.
Oh, I read that wrong. I thought I thought it was saying he cleaned the seats because of.
No.
Oh, okay. I see.
Everybody, the second you start that story, you think it's going down a completely different route.
I thought that was another like nasty
Bride
story.
No. But to everybody else at the wedding, it definitely looked like what you thought it was.
Yeah, no, I just read that wrong. Well, that's just unfortunate.
Yeah. That's like that gives me like, I guess like wedding movie vibes. That's kind of like,
I mean, why would I get, wanting to clean the seats before you pick people up, but why'd you have to pick a cleaner that makes it brown?
I don't know. Maybe he didn't know that. Maybe it was a new leather cleaner and maybe he was a new limo driver and just needed to make sure his seats were cleaned. Or maybe somebody else previously had pooped themselves, so he did need to use the leather cleaner and then it was brown anyway. But that's
okay.
Pretty bad. Nobody wants brown stains on their dress.
No matter what it is.
I guess I'm going to go random. This one's kind of light, but I think it's applicable to a lot of scenarios. At my friend's wedding, the DJ said the wrong name for the groom when they did intros, and then the music was cutting out through the entire first dance. Not an injury or anything, but still pretty bad for a wedding. Typical DJs, I must say. No, I'm kidding. It's just unprofessional. At the bare minimum, know their names.
I can barely say that because I forget their names all the time.
I forget who I'm talking to here.
I can't say that. However,
Gosh.
it reminds me of Friends, the show, because when Ross says Rachel's name at the altar. But no, that's bad. I mean, especially like it's okay for me to forget sometimes because I don't need to. There's never a time I need to actually say their names. But for the person who's actually announcing to the crowd of people, like, come on, know the name.
Yep.
Or at least have it written down like in front of you. Like, you're basically reading off your script anyway.
Yeah. Unless you have the wrong script, which he probably had. Probably a studio DJ with like 100 weddings in a year.
I feel like that's kind of your like thing. I feel like I have a lot of things I've been shitting on in all of these podcasts, but
Your DJs?
Your thing is you shit on the DJs more than I do.
Sorry, DJs. I love you all. The good ones.
Not really.
All right. Want to grab
At least
another
that's
one?
your only cancelable thing. You tend to play it pretty tame, except when it comes to DJs.
I love DJs. Most of them.
All right. My sister had a pretty bad experience. The wedding car broke down. Not my sister, the sister in the story.
Yeah.
Had to clarify. The wedding car broke down on the way to the church. The church garden had timed sprinklers that turned on during the photos, and we all got wet. And the cake didn't turn up at the reception. Never trust cousins to collect your cake, in parentheses. The reception venue iced a cardboard box. So they had something to cut for the photos. What does that mean?
Like they just made a fake cake.
Oh,
icing on a cardboard.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're still happily married 32 years, though. Okay, so happy ending, but...
This is kind of like the brown stain thing, kind of like this sounds like everything that went wrong could go wrong.
Sounds worse than it turned out to be, I guess. Like, so they had a cake that looked like a cake, I guess, but it was just a cardboard cake with icing on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or a cardboard box with icing on it.
Let's break this down. Number one, car broke down on the way to the church.
Unfortunate, but not the end of the world.
I'm going to also make a bold assumption and say that it was kind of like a vintage getaway car or something that they just rented for the wedding. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just an unfortunate scenario.
I was thinking it was just your basic Honda Civic or something.
Yeah, could have been that. If it was one of those vintage cars, that's kind of like, yeah, vintage cars are cool and stuff, but like I hear stories of them breaking down all the time.
I mean, they're old. Like,
yeah. So it's like, that's, if you were thinking about doing a vintage car exit, think again, I guess. Or at least kind of like vet the car that you're renting, see if it's still good to go. The sprinklers.
That's also unfortunate, but the church should have
what the heck, man?
Turned them off. Like if they know a wedding's happening, I get it. Your sprinklers are on a schedule, but for an event like this, just turn them off.
Typical church.
First the DJs, now he's attacking the church.
I'm not attacking the church. Let's just be clear. Oh God, that's gonna be in the hook. Oh no, I'm not attacking the church. No, that's horrible. Now there's a soundbite on the internet. What the heck? I am not attacking the church. In my experience with churches, a lot of churches will do kind of like, you know, if it's like a popular church, they'll do multiple weddings in a day. Sure. They're kind of just like, you know, trying to get people in and out and stuff. So they're not like super fine tuned on their processes. They're just, they're very strict in some areas when it comes to photographers and videographers and where we can stand and stuff. But they're very not attentive to detail in other areas. So
things that matter, honestly. Like, who cares
not having the sprinklers turn on or things like that. But who knows? Maybe they weren't supposed to go in the garden. Maybe that was on them.
That was definitely not on them.
I'll put it on the church.
And your cousin's forgetting about the cake. That's just your cousins. Like, come on.
No frienders, no family who is also a vendor. I think that's pretty.
Well, it wasn't a vendor. It was just like the cousin's job was supposed to go to get the cake, and they just didn't.
I guess don't rely on your family or friends to do anything ever for the wedding. And I'm like, like I do with a lot of other things on this podcast, I'll relate it back to the wedding I'm planning. I have a dedicated team of people to do all the wedding day things so that my friends and family don't have to lift the finger. One, so they can be more relaxed and not have to worry about things on the day. But two, because I don't trust anybody. So I'd rather put that in the hands of the professionals. You know, maybe you should have had like the baker deliver it. Maybe you were saving money by doing a pickup versus delivery, but like,
yeah.
Now you don't have a cake. So,
but they had a cardboard box for the photos. So I'm sure it looked fine.
That's all that matters to
If
anybody
you
because
covered
nobody's
the
eating the
cardboard
cake.
in icing, I'm sure it looked good enough for the photos.
Yeah, nobody's eating the cake.
So it all ended fine.
And they're happily married 32 years later.
Yeah, 32 years. It's a long time.
That's great. Moving on. Kind of want to just... Ooh, this one's... brings up a kind of like interesting point. So when my parents got married, they combined their names and each changed their name to a hyphenated version. So their names were mom, dad's name, dash mom's name. Does that make sense? Like, so it was like, I'll just use...
use real names, like fake names.
Like Mary Johnson Smith and then Steve Johnson Smith. So they like hyphenated their names. When I was born, they named me daughter, dad's name's mom's name. So like Sheila Johnson Smith, whatever. So last week I spent 20 minutes getting harassed by the clerk who was filing my marriage license. First, she wanted to know my maiden name. My maiden name is dad's name dash mom's name. I came into this world with a double last name. She didn't like that. Then she wanted to know my dad's real name. My dad legally changed his name, and with the power of law behind him, he tacked on my mom's name onto his. That's what it says on my birth certificate. That is what it says on his driver's license. She didn't like that. Finally, she wanted to know my mother's maiden name. My mother, out of all of us, actually has a maiden name, so she got that. But now on the form, the mother had a single name and the father had a double name. She didn't like that. She stressed repeatedly that if any of this information was incorrect, I wouldn't be married. She stressed that they were actually going to check. She stressed so hard, her stress had stress. I'm taking my husband's name. I've had enough of this bullshit. That just sounds like an unfortunate situation to be in. Like,
I mean, I understand that it could probably be a little confusing and wanting to do it right for like legal purposes. So I understand there is kind of like, I don't know if pressure is the right word, but like it's a meaningful thing that needs to be done right. So from the employee standpoint, like I get why they were a little uptight about it, but come on.
It's like, you know what this is like? It's like when you go to, the airport and, you know, the name on your ticket is not the exact name on your...
Yeah, like what happened to me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, tell your story because
so
told it on one podcast before, but not this one.
I mean, no, it's very kind of similar to this situation. So I have two middle names. I have my full name is... Wait, should I say my full name?
I don't know. If anybody's going to track you down, then you can.
Well, anyway, let's just say I have two middle names. I have a first name, two middle names, and a last name. And
well, I think so. Probably what doesn't help is that your second middle name is like your Korean-born name,
correct.
Right? Yeah, that's probably important detail.
Yeah. I was gonna get there. So I was going on a flight and I didn't book the tickets. Someone else did. So I gave them, like, not a random person, someone I actually knew. I gave them my license, like, so they just put in my info for this like group flight thing. And I thought it was all set. She's like, yep, we're good. Because on my license, it's pretty obvious. It's like first name, middle names, both there, and then last name, all on separate lines, you know? So I was like, okay, I can't mess it up.
Wait, so both of your middle names are on the license?
Yeah, it's my legal name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, but it shouldn't matter because like you don't even need your middle names. Just do first and last. However, What happened was when she was inputting my name, she put my middle name as my last name.
Got it.
So on the plane ticket thing, it was like Nick middle name or Nicholas middle name. And when I got to security, they were like, this doesn't match. Get out of line. And I was like, wait, what? And this is my first flight ever. And I was by myself.
Yeah, I can't even
So
imagine.
I was panicking because I was like, first of all, where the hell do I go? And no one was telling me. So I just was walking around trying to figure out where to go to fix it because the person at security didn't bother to tell me. She just yelled at me to get out of line, get out of here. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I get in this line finally that I'm like just hoping is the right place because it's a long, long line.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if this is the wrong place, I'm going to be waiting here for like an hour for nothing. And this is actually a funny story. I think I told you, but I find it hilarious. So,
I heard this part of the story on your other podcast.
So the guy in front of me, who we're in the stand together for like an hour, and he's on his phone panicking. I'm just eavesdropping, so there's nothing else to do. He's just talking to his friend on his phone, and he was like saying, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna miss the flight," because we were about to miss the flight. I was waiting in this line for an hour just to fix my name, and I could hear him out of context when he was talking. Like he was clearly going to Las Vegas, and that was the same place I was going. And I was like, okay, we're definitely on the same flight if he's also talking about missing his flight. So we finally get to the front of the line, and there's like probably 4 or 5 kiosk people that are like working. So he goes to one, and then the next one opens up, so I go to her. And like down probably like 10 feet away, I can hear him yelling at this poor lady, like his scenario. And he was like so angry. And then I am like, you know what? I know you should be nice to airport people. They have it rough. So I'm like, I was stressed out too because I'm panicking on the inside. First time ever doing this. So I calmly told her my situation. And she was like, okay, we can get this fixed. Press a few buttons, boom, boom, boom. And then I hear the guy over there just saying like, yeah, you're going to have to just book me on the next flight, like yada, 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 because he's like going to miss it. So he was getting help getting booked on the next flight because our flight was like boarding basically in like 2 minutes from this time. And I still had to get through security and then get to my like terminal thing. So then this lady who was helping me was like, all right, yeah, just come with me. So she prints out my new thing and literally just plows her way through the security line and brings me to the front. And she just like put him through and I got through and she's like, all right, you're all set. And I'm like, thank you. So then I go through. Turns out my flight was actually delayed. So actually I was okay. I still had to wait for like 20 extra minutes. I get on the flight and I had a window seat. There was a dude sitting in the aisle and there was a middle seat next to us empty. And they made the announcement on the flight saying, all right, everyone, this is a full flight. So yada, yada, yada. And then they were about to take off. And I was like, full flight? Good thing no one's here. And then I thought in my head, wait a minute. That guy who's standing in front of me was supposed to be sitting here. So I got a nice little open space to just relax with no annoying guy next to me because he was mean and they didn't bother pushing him through security. But I was nice, so they brought me to the front.
Karma.
But long story short, it all happened because my name got mixed up.
Yeah, name mix-ups are no fun. I've told you before, I blame your real, I blame your, I guess, American name because it sounds so fake.
I was gonna say I blame Julie.
Sorry, Julie. Because you get to security, and it on your ticket it says Nick,
Martin.
Korean last name, right?
No, she mixed it with my American name.
Oh, wait. So it didn't. Okay, I was gonna play the race card, but
so like, I mean that definitely could have been a thing. But for this scenario,
I thought they were just like, this is somebody who just picked Nick Jones as a fake name. And
No.
I thought that's what they were thinking.
I think for this scenario, it was just like my Korean last or middle name didn't actually play a role directly. It was never written anywhere except for my license.
Okay.
Well, the problem was just like it was
this.
like Nicholas and like Martin was my middle name, but she wrote it as my last, and they were just like mad about that. But then on my license, she could see they were both there, and then my last name was right there. She's like, okay, that's fine and all, but it's not here, so you need it to be on this paper. I'm like, God damn it.
That's even worse though, because like obviously your last name is Jones, and she should have known at that point. The person who booked your flight
I know,
should have known
like,
your last name was Jones at that point. Oh well. Oh, geez. I played the race card out of context and I'm attacking the church. I'm not I'm not making good progress this episode.
That is so funny.
Anyway, legal names are hard.
Anyway.
All right. How many more do we have today? I'm going to check the time.
20 something minutes, I think.
We've got
We'll do a
time
couple
for some
more
more.
maybe.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I'll do the one at the top here. So,
All right.
my stepdad and I were planning to do a father-daughter dance because he'd been my dad since I was a teenager. I was also doing one with my biological dad. They were both going to walk me down the aisle, okay? And my mom got wasted like 2 days before the wedding, screaming and yelling, accusing him of cheating on her. Parentheses, while we were practicing our dance. Okay, so bad timing there. She threw him out of the house. Okay. I was so scared that there was going to be a massive blow up at the wedding and asked my mom not to drink. Then she got drunk at the wedding anyways and started mouthing off at my biological dad only to get taken home by my stepdad. Now my mom and stepdad are divorcing and I get to have pictures of the man who cheated on my mom, which was confirmed, walking me down the aisle.
Wait. I'm confused now. So there's two dads.
The stepdad, I think, was accused of, as she was practicing her dance with the stepdad, the mom was screaming at him because she accused him of cheating.
The stepdad.
I think it was the stepdad, yeah. And then fast forward to the wedding, apparently the cheating was confirmed. So now he did walk her down the aisle. So she has all these nice photos at the wedding of the stepdad and her. And then now they're getting a divorce. And now she's like, well, now I have all these photos with this man who cheated on my mom.
I got it now. Well, that's messy.
Yeah, not good.
Takeaway here. Alcohol. Please pace yourselves on the wedding day.
Well, that and don't cheat on your spouse.
Well, yeah, that's a given. I shouldn't have to say that. I think people get carried away with alcohol on the wedding day. And this is a good little lesson to everybody. I would say, yes, enjoy a drink on your wedding day. It's fun. Let loose. If that's your way of relaxing, go for it. I would say, maybe have a sip of champagne in the early parts of the day maximum, but don't get wasted before your ceremony. I mean, also this is talking about the mom, so she's just an alcoholic.
Yeah, it's not the bride's not the one drinking, it's just the mom.
Just little teaching point, I guess, for anybody is lay off the drinking early on in the day. Enjoy some stuff at cocktail hour. Make sure you're eating, drinking water. And generally, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but generally, you're probably going to want to remember more of those moments. So I guess don't get completely wasted if you want.
I don't think we've ever had a couple that got completely wasted while we were there.
While we were there, yeah. Huge caveat there.
So at least for their video, they look fine.
Yeah, at least what we know of.
But we know of some later on events after we leave. Sure, get wasted. Once we're done, do whatever you want.
I was even saying in general, just probably pace yourself a little bit more. Carry a light buzz if that's what you enjoy. But I would say don't get blackout drunk because then that never ends well. So alcohol is a funny thing. But all right.
Next,
you want to do one more?
I guess let's just do these last two before this link thing here.
I'm gonna do one more.
Yeah,
do this longer
there's two
one.
left: the horror story and the on the day of our.
No, I was saying one more, for the episode.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're gonna do a part 2 of this because we have a
fine.
bunch. So, all right, cool. On the day of our wedding, it was discovered that the venue had booked 2 outdoor weddings at the same time, ours and another in a gazebo not very far from ours. Somehow, the father of the bride in the other wedding found out that our processions were going to be at the same time. He also found out that our procession included a bagpiper, as myself and groomsmen all were in kilts, while his daughter's wedding procession was going to have a harpist.
Ooh.
He approached me and very nicely asked if we could consider delaying our procession for about 20 minutes so our bagpipers would not drown out their harpist. Understandable.
It's a fair request, honestly.
After conferring with my soon-to-be wife, we agreed that a 20-minute delay was no big deal for us.
There we go, yeah.
Unfortunately, the father of the bride should have taken some other factors into consideration and instead delayed his daughter's wedding because their procession went off without a hitch and everyone in their wedding heard their beautiful harpist. But the vows were pretty much inaudible because once our bagpipers started at the requested 20 minutes later. Oh, I found this out. Wait, I'm confused. I lost my place.
I think I know what you're trying to say.
The bagpipers started at exactly 20 minutes after theirs started.
As requested.
Drowned out their vows. I found this out later that day because apparently one of my cousins attending my wedding had a friend that was attending the other wedding. Seriously, it was dearly beloved. We are gathered here today to cue bagpipes until our procession was over. I hope the other wedding party was able to get some sort of compensation from the venue for their oversight since they had been informed of the musicians at each wedding and didn't bother informing either party. On top of that, our DJ had burned a CD with our chosen husband-wife dance song on it and didn't bother to check it before the reception. The song would not play because the CD somehow didn't burn right, and we had to pick another song to dance to on the fly. We got a nice discount from the DJ. We got a nice discount from the DJ company for that one. Lots going on here. This is hilarious.
That like timestamped itself because who the hell uses CDs at weddings anymore? This must be an older story.
It has to be. I hope it's an older story.
Kids don't even know what a CD is. I mean, I know what burning a CD means, but other people might not.
Which I guess is better than streaming music, but I guess in this case not. I'm going to break this down bit by bit. Our venue had booked 2 outdoor weddings at the same time. I don't care for wedding factories.
So there was one kind of like on the beach, and there was 2 ceremony sites kind of right next to each other with just a wall.
Yes.
And like they didn't have them at the exact same time.
Right.
But they had the weddings on the same day, ceremonies within like an hour of each other. So like I think that's okay because I don't think, if anything, we messed their ceremony up because the cocktail hour for our wedding was happening outside during their ceremony.
Right.
So like that sucked for them, but our side, we had it fine. But no, I agree. Overall, I don't like when they do them simultaneously.
Yeah. There's a few logistical things. Like I've been to a few places where they do 2 weddings at the same time, and it's just like, it doesn't feel like a personalized service. Like if you're from the couple's perspective, it, like there's one place we pulled up to and it was kind of like we couldn't park in a certain part of the parking lot because that was reserved for the other wedding, and then vice versa. I
totally forgot about that one.
And there were like signs. It was like, oh, couple A is here, couple B is here. And it was like very clear that they have 2 weddings going on at the same time.
Right.
And like, you know, the staff would introduce you, be like, are you part of couple A wedding or couple B wedding? And that just felt very not personal. So like, again, when I was searching for a wedding venue myself, I was kind of like, I made that a criteria, just like they only do 1 wedding a day. And for me, that's like a huge thing. I mean, sure, there probably are some venues where they can keep things a little bit more separated, but I feel like it's just really hard to do that properly at least. So,
yeah.
I mean, there's one that we go to. I'll name drop them because they do a good job at it, but the Owl's Nest Resort can do 2 weddings in a day.
Right.
Because they have completely separate like reception spots and ceremony spots.
Yeah. Like the 2 wedding parties don't see each other ever.
You wouldn't know that there's another wedding going on that day. So if there's places like that, then sure. But if it's like, if you share the building and you're just separated by walls, or you have an outdoor ceremony at the same time there's another outdoor ceremony, it's just a recipe for disaster. Okay. They mentioned a gazebo. I don't like gazebos.
I don't like gazebos either. I do think the request for the 20 minutes, I think, and they responded well to it, I think that was all fine.
That was all fine. Obviously, he said it in this story, but I think
he's the one that messed up.
It should have just been reversed. The venue knew both musicians, so they probably should have put 2 and 2 together. Again, they're a wedding factory, so they probably don't care about these details as much. But just have the bagpiper ceremony be the first one that goes, and then the harp ceremony goes second. Because who cares if there's a little light harp music going on in the background? Like, you might not even hear it. Everybody loves a good harpist. I mean, also, like, bagpipes.
Irish.
Yeah, I guess I'm not going to make any opinions about bagpipes. I've already gotten canceled twice today. I wouldn't choose them.
It's a stylistic choice for sure, but I feel like if it's like an Irish wedding, I can definitely see it happening.
Doesn't scream romance to me, but
traditional.
Everybody's got their thing. And then, the DJ burning a CD. I guess don't do that.
Well, I guess assuming this is an older story and this actually took place in the time period of when that was normal, I'm sure that was fine. Normally, it just happened that the CD just, like they said, didn't burn right, or just it scratched up.
Preventable issue. Play it once to make sure it burnt right.
I mean, that was on him. If he didn't even try it before he got there, then that was on him for not double checking.
Yeah. But luckily they said they gave him a discount. So rightfully so. That's Reddit Wedding Horror Stories Part 1. Those are some good ones.
They were better than I thought they were going to be.
Honestly, same. I thought some of them were going to be a little weird. Did you have a favorite that stuck out to you? I liked the brown dress because it wasn't what you thought it was.
Yeah, maybe.
It was a twist.
Yeah, maybe that one. The last one I read, maybe.
How about the projectile vomit? That was
just nasty.
Nasty. Entertaining, but nasty. All right. So that's it for part 1. Definitely going to do a part 2. So if you guys want to hear part 3, part 4, more of these, we'd be happy to do more of them.
Or if you have your own.
Yes, please. If you have some of your own, please submit them to us. We have a link in the show notes or the description if you're on YouTube. Please leave something so we have some things to read, which will be fun. Love reacting to those unhinged stories because some of ours are just boring.
Which I guess is a better. Good thing, but I want to react to other people's misery.
Yeah.
Not ours.
Oh, gosh. But anyway, if you enjoyed, give it a 5-star review, thumbs up on YouTube, subscribe over there, follow us on Spotify and on Instagram at SeaMount Weddings. And if you're looking to book a videography wedding yourself, head over to SeaMountWeddings.com. That about does it. See you in the next one.